official rights.
Then I get to wear it, and a lot of times now the king that I have right now is pretty cool, so I don't have to do it
all the time.
So he's cool. He's cool. So I don't have to do it. So thank God for that.
The value of not always having to do the proper state.
He's the born again Christian, so that should tell you a whole lot right there.
That's awesome.
He's the Bible carrying king, so that would tell you a whole lot about that. So,
what a blessing.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So now you have had this, what we would assume as a blessed life as a princess. I mean, isn't that what every girl wants to have? Yeah. And yet, you, in your story, have considered suicide. How do you get to that place?
Well, one thing I always tell people is that being born into royalty does not exempt you from abuse. In fact, in a lot of cultures, African culture and all this kind of culture where you have multiple wives and you have all those things going on, there's a lot of taboo, there's a lot of secrecy that's hidden. And part of it is sexual abuse. Part of it is all those things, but it is a taboo to talk about it.
Right.
But so for myself, what I actually encountered was here, having married here and at a very young age. And I had told my dad I was coming back home, never went back home, fell in love, and a lot of things happened. He was young, I was young. He was crazy, I was more crazy. I mean, things were just happening, and when abuse became an issue of a daily thing for me, I could not go back home to tell my royal family that I had failed.
Right.
Because it was a marriage that they had questioned.
Right.
They thought, okay, if you were getting married, try and marry at a certain level, and I was trying to save a life through marriage. I was crazy trying to save somebody through marriage. I mean, that's a wrong approach right there.
Right.
I agree. Not uncommon, though.
It happens more often than
Yeah. And so I thought I had it made. I thought I had my soulmate. I thought, so I could not go back home. And because I couldn't go back home, I had to stay here and just face all the abuse, both from the man and other things. Lost my home, lost businesses. I mean, it was pretty rough. At some point, I literally lost my mind. And I'm not talking about, lost my mind. I was out. And after 6 months, I came through, and thank God for the church women that were around me. When I remember coming through, and I woke up, I was looking for my two boys. They were then 2.5 and 1. And I kept saying, where are my boys? Where are my boys? And they said, don't worry, we have them. And I tell you, but the grace of God that took me out of that insanity. And to be the top employer in the place who employed literally almost everybody there, and then turn out to be somebody who is now going back to your employees and seeking help. It was rough. And so that was the moment I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I can't go back home to Africa to tell them what had happened. I have these 2 babies that I have to feed, and I don't know how to feed them. I'm done. And so I found myself on Verrazano Bridge. You know Verrazano Bridge?
I do.
And I'm telling you, I was at the ledge.
Yes.
My foot, I had my foot to the pedal. I literally had my foot to the pedal. And how many of you know that God will speak to you with what you love? I love films. So God decided to take a film reel to speak to me. All I needed to do was release the pedal. And right at the point of releasing the pedal, I saw a film reel, and it was my children crying. Every segment was them crying, crying. And I heard the Holy Ghost say, is this the legacy? A legacy of suicide? Is this what you want to leave for your children? Do you understand that your children will always blame themselves and say they were never enough for this?
Wow.
And I'm telling you, I heard that. I pushed that pedal, and I stayed and said, whatever it is, I'm ready to face it, just for my children.
Wow.
But God does meet us where we're at.
That's right.
When when it feels like all hope is lost,
That's right.
he can meet us there. And
He gave you exactly what you needed.
Oh yeah, my children.
In that moment.
Yeah, that's right.
Which it's the places where somebody has ended up being seduced into the lie that ending it all will fix everything.
That's right. That's right.
To be able to talk to somebody who didn't follow through, that God stopped it, and then to be able to see the before and after. Yeah. Because the after part includes the book that we have of yours.
Yes.
Your vision torch.
Release your vision torch.
That's right.
Tell us about this. A blueprint for success.
Oh my goodness. So after I got off the ledge of Horizontal Bridge, so I thought to myself, okay, God showed me this, so there must be something great coming. Of course, it got worse, right? Oh. And so I had to relocate, and I could not, even with my master's degree, I could not find any job in Jersey. Well, Jersey. Jersey.
Yeah.
I could not find any. None. But there was this man who had a convenience store. I will forever be grateful, an Indian man. And he said to me, look, I don't have a cashier job, but I have a job for you. If you can come in every night, graveyard shift, and clean the inside of the deep freezer. So people on Periscope and my brokers know me. They call me the deep freezer lady. And so they all know my story about the deep freezer. And I said, what do you mean the deep freezer? They said, yeah, the deep freezer. If you can, I'll pay you to do that. And I said, well, I mean, it's better than nothing. So I would literally go in. But do you understand that when you are in pain, I could not even feel. I mean, it's so amazing. It's a deep freezer, and I could not even feel the cold.
Right.
That was how much pain I was in. And I would remember every night I would go in because, well, it's graveyard shift. It was just me in there. Nobody else was there. And I would literally roll on the floor, one side to the other. And I kept saying, God, show me. You either get me out of this world or you show me something. And I went through that, and that was when the vision torch. And he said, let me give you a success blueprint. I'm going to give you an exit strategy out of poverty. I'm going to give you an exit strategy out of poverty of your mindset, starting from that, and out of poverty. And God began to give me that in that deep freezer. And that's how I got that. And since then, I'm telling you, this book has literally, people write me from all over the world and tell me, oh my God, they always have one or two things they tell me about that because they could relate to that.
Is your story in here as well?
Oh yeah, the deep freezer story. The deep freezer is in there. I'm the deep freezer. Look, I wear it well. I'm the deep freezer lady.
But it's amazing how when you were on that bridge, you had no understanding or vision of what God's purpose for you was. But God had so much more for you, and not just for you, but for a lot of other people through you. And it's when we're in that dark place, we can't see past the pain and the darkness to have a clue that God could have a beautiful future and take that pain and brokenness to help us relate to other people, to help show them his heart.
I wouldn't even believe it. And that's the truth. If anybody had come to me on the bridge and said, hey, guess what? He got plans for you, I probably would have punched them right in the face and said, what you mean planned? I'm homeless, number one. Yeah. Right? I have babies to feed, nowhere to feed them. You're telling me what? Right. Who what? Who had what? Right. So you never know. You just never know. But now I look back at what God has done in my life and the lives of people that he has drawn to me on a daily basis. And I say, my goodness, through my movies, through all that, it's just amazing to see and now they call me the vision midwife. And I say, oh, I wear that well too. Thank you. I'll take it. Vision lady, okay, I'll take it. And it's just amazing. And that's our lesson to everybody out there, that don't give up. Don't throw in the towel right at the point of breakthrough, because that ledge was my point of breakthrough, a point of decision, right? Oh, yeah. And if I had taken the other one, my goodness, imagine the number of people that would not have had the opportunity to really even get that blessing from that.
Because God has a plan, he has a vision, he had a purpose.
That's right.
But you still had a choice to make.
Yes, it's your choice.
Oh my gosh. And I'm sure in that moment that was still a very difficult choice.
Oh, I tell you what, even after I got off the ledge, I was still afraid because I was going back to homelessness. My home had been taken away from me. Everything that I knew that I had, that I worked out for, had been stripped away from me. So I didn't even know where I was going. It was still incredibly dark.
Right. And that's why we walk by faith.
That's right.
And not by sight.
That's right.
Because when we look with our eyes and see what's in front of us, it
Yeah.
doesn't look so hopeful.
That's right.
Our hope is in Him, in our faith, and where He's bringing us.
Absolutely.
And you are a testament to the fact that we just don't know where He's going to take us, and in what crazy directions we can go.
But more importantly, that it's not about your royalty. It's not about, because we are royalty. We're all
In
princess
Christ,
in Christ.
Yeah.
So it's not about your background, because I've defied that even born in royal family did not exempt me from suicide ideation.
Right.
It did not exempt me from abuse, because I was listening to you too. I was sexually abused at 5 years old too.
Right.
So go figure.
Right.
So it didn't.
Wow.
That didn't stop anything.
Yeah.
So by the time I was being abused as a wife, I thought, well, maybe this is just the deal.
Right. And you deserve it.
Yeah.
Except that's all lies, because nobody deserves
That's right.
that pain. Nobody
right.
deserves that abuse.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter what position you have. And we all believe, well, if I was a princess, then I wouldn't have to go through that. And you're sitting here going, oh, no, I am a princess, and I've had to go through.
That's right.
Not exempt from brokenness, not exempt from reality.
No.
The horrors of this world, but also that also makes you not exempt from the hope that is available
Amen to that.
as well.
Amen to that.
Amazing.
Amen to that.
We want to celebrate you. Thank you so much for sharing,
Thank
Princess
you for having
Fumi.
me. Thank you so much for having me.
We have a gift for you as
I
the
was waiting on that.
ex-victim of the week.
I actually was waiting on it because I've watched the show.
You get the chocolates.
And so, but I had the chocolate. So I watched the show, so I was like,
So
okay.
as you
yes,
process
I
through
gotta
some
have
of
a
these
chocolate.
emotions, yes, there's chocolates and tissues just for you.
And your ex-victim necklace, which is your symbol of Christ coming in and helping you bloom despite the fact
thank you.
that you have been a victim.
Thank you
and
so
we're just
much.
so excited to celebrate
Thank you so much.
with the brokenness that we hate anybody ever has or has to go through.
Right.
But having been there and knowing that the hope is in Christ, the hope is in a relationship with God, and you're such a beautiful
thank you.
image
Thank
of what God can do
Thank you.
when
Thank
we
you. I
lean into
appreciate
Him
that. Thank
instead
you.
of instead of giving up.
Yeah.
Instead of listening to those lies that we hear over and
yes,
over again. And we can continue to bloom and flourish
Absolutely.
and share with the world through books, through film, and through fashion even, that we are princesses in God's kingdom.
That's right.
And that way we can use the fertilizer
Of our
past
to bloom
We get to bloom today.
not tomorrow.
You get to bloom today.
Today, amen.
A free PDF copy of the Bloom in the Dark book and a full list of Bloom Today's coaching tools can be found on bloomtodaytv.com. Then visit Bloom Today's Facebook group for deeper conversation.